Grab your workout stuff, whatever it is you use to work out. If you have a stepper, a rope, anything, I believe the simple things that we use to work out is what we actually use. All the fancy stuff, we end up not using them. They just take up space. But if you do use yours, go ahead. And we will, as we work out today, we will talk about what we eat. And what we eat is very important when it comes to exercise, because it is a portion of it for weight loss. Usually it's about 70 to 80% of your success is going to be based on food rather than workout. We need to work out. We need to work out to improve our strength. We need to work out to move the muscles, move the body. And yes, as I said, it helps with the weight loss too, but it's about maybe 20% of it is what I think. So that it boils down to we cannot out exercise all the food we eat. We cannot outrun, outwalk, outstep. We cannot make it up by exercising. So we have to eat right. It's important. And I'm not saying we shouldn't live life, enjoy life. We should, but do everything in moderation. I believe portion sizes is the key. We have to cut down on things that are unhealthy. We eat everything, but we cut down on things that are unhealthy. Well, let me take that back. I don't think we should be eating sugar. I think sugar is the reason we have the problems we have in society today. So, if we eat it, it has to be very, very minimal. So, I am not a fan of drinking soda. I'm not a fan of drinking juice. We have to try to make our food as whole as possible, to eat it the way nature may give it to us. Instead of eating processed food, make efforts to eat foods that are less processed or whole. The one very thing that I do want to stress today is starch, the starch in the food we eat. We have to be very cognizant of starch and how much of it we are consuming every day or as we sit down to eat. So when we sit down to eat, make sure the starch on our plate is the smallest portion of the entire meal that we're going to eat. So examples of starchy foods are your rice, pasta, bread, especially white bread. Whole grains are starchy too, but they are much better than white bread. When I say white bread, I mean the white bread, really. The French rolls and all the other stuff. And then when they have a lot of sugar in them, that's even worse, like the donuts and other things. It's because I also say it's not just the food, it's how the food is prepped, right? Somebody takes a dough and fry it. That's a whole different trouble right there. So we have to pay attention to those. There are also starches in grains. The grains that we eat, like beans and lentils and farro and a host of them, they have starch. But the reason I definitely prefer them for our health over the regular starchy food is that they have fiber. You see, there are two different types of fiber, the non-soluble fiber and the soluble fiber. Vegetables in their stems have the fiber that is not broken down, the non-soluble. So those actually bind with the bad stuff that we eat, some of them in our gut, and we get them out the other way. Instead of being absorbed into your body. First of all, they give you fullness. The fiber makes you not overeat those things. So they give you fullness. You get full quicker, and when you're full quicker, you tend not to grab and snack on other stuff that are not healthy for you. So that's what fiber does. So that's what grains in beans and lentils, that's what they help us do. The same thing vegetables do. Yes, they have starch, but I prefer them over the rest of the starchy foods that I previously mentioned, like the ones that are in white bread or pasta or rice or other foods. Now remember that most baked goods are baked with white bread, so that's something to pay attention to. If it's baked, it more than likely has a lot of starch. Yes, people can bake things with beans and other things, but the white stuff, the white bread, is the white flour is the amount of calorie, the amount of starch that it has is a lot. So that's why we have to pay attention. This is a struggle for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and lie that I don't love pizza, that I don't love all the other things that are made with white flour. But I think moderation is the key. We have to eat them in moderation. So that is the main thing I wanted to mention today. If you have any questions on carbohydrates, starchy foods, please ask me. I hear it all the time. Oh, I didn't think that has starch. Most of the things we eat have starch. Even the vegetables we eat, all the root vegetables have starch. Your potatoes, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, turnips, all those things, they have starch. But why we prefer them in the things we call vegetables is that they also have fiber. So we say, well, they're better. They are not much processed. The only processing that goes on is how you made them. So that's important in addressing the whole of our effort to be more healthy, to lose weight, to avoid chronic problems. So the problem with starch is that starches get converted to glucose, and glucose makes our body make insulin, and the more our body will have to make this insulin all the time, every time we eat, snack, or all the time. It causes, over time, the body becomes resistant to that insulin, and then it has to make more and more. And eventually, that's how people end up with pre-diabetes or diabetes. Pre-diabetes means you're on the borderline for diabetes, or you flat out have type 2 diabetes. Type 1 people are born with, or, people develop it because of other problems. But type 2 diabetes is really because of the foods that we eat and not being able to control, to know when we are full. That's another thing. The fibers in food, yes, they help us get full, but they also take care of our gut bacteria. Our gut bacteria that helps us know when we are full. When we are not treating our gut bacteria well and feeding them what they need, which is fiber, we end up with the bad ones, and the bad ones like sweets. That's what they feed on, bad yeast and all this other stuff. And eventually, you're eating and you're not full, and you tell yourself, oh my God, I'm hungry all the time, I'm always eating. Think about the gut bacteria in the microbiome, the things that live in our gut that God put there to help us. So again, exercise as much as you are able to. I do encourage 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. That is the recommendation. But I always say, don't get intimidated by that. Start with whatever it is you can handle. 5 minutes is something. And also make a habit of, every time you eat, please get up and do some walking around. Don't let eating and laying down be the last thing you do. Get up, walk around. That's what you do. And also try to eat your last meal of the day earlier in the evening. 6 p.m., 7 p.m., cut it off. Don't eat and go to bed. Sleep is important, I tell people. So don't equally drink and go to bed. Then you have to get up at night to pee. When you're up at night peeing is when your cells are not healing. So it's a lot to touch on, but I wanted to touch on carbohydrates today as we walk out. I like using my stepper. I feel like it takes little space. It's not intimidating. I can do all kinds of things on it. So feel free to come back to my channel. Please comment, share your journey with me. I'm on this journey with you. We may not have started all at the same point, but our goals are the same: to be more healthy, to be stronger, to utilize our energy for the things that we need them for, to not walk around being tired all day. That's what I hear most of the time. I'm tired all day. The more we feed our body the right food, the more we exercise, the more we become stronger and not be chronically tired. So that will be it. Thank you for listening to my ramble. I hope you got some workout done. I hope you come back. Every time I post a workout video, I think I enjoy making these voiceovers. So just to discuss things, give you something to listen to while you work out, as well as discuss ways to make us better other than just working out. That will be all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.